Hello. All right. Just getting up to speed here. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Right as I was about to start, of course, the clouds opened up, so there's a huge torrential rainstorm happening all around me. Thank you for joining me. We're going to talk today about pandemic marketing. What is pandemic marketing? And really, what are the main things you need to know moving ahead in terms of marketing in this kind of new normal? So my name is Nikki Tudico. I'm president of Lamb Creative Group, which is a PR award-winning PR and marketing agency. We service clients across Canada, the United States, and Europe. I also am the founder of Black Sheep Academy, which is an online resource and community for entrepreneurs, side hustlers, and those that are dreaming of starting a business. So I'm really excited to spend some time today talking to a group of entrepreneurs. If you're with me and you can hear me all good, I would love for you to just in the chat box there, if you can actually throw in your industry or type of business that you're in, so that I have an idea of who's in the group. And that way, if I have examples and things, I can tailor them to the businesses of people that are joining us today. So I'll let you do that, and then I will. Oh, I see we've got a lawyer, Carrie. That's great. Oh, fashion manufacturer. That's really neat. And fabric masks. Very timely, Sperry. That's amazing. So as we have new people joining us, just if you can add your industry or type of business that you run into the chat box, that would be really helpful. And we will get started. Hold one sec here. You know, after about 4 months steadily using Zoom, which of course I used much before that, you get very used to one system. So hold 1 second here. I'm just going to make sure this is ready to go. All right. Let me see here. All this fun stuff. How we have become so dependent on technology. Hold 1 sec here. Let's try this again. All right. So we'll kick things off. Pandemic times. COVID-19 hit March, well, I guess earlier than March, in January. And of course, all of us were not expecting that to happen. It's drastically changed how we're doing our businesses, how we have to think about business, and more importantly, how we market our business. So how the marketing landscape is changing, and boy, is it changing. The state of marketing right now. So COVID-19 has changed everything. It's changed how consumers feel right now. It's changed how consumers spend their money, the power of their spend, you know, their finances, their comfort spending, where they're located. They're not, obviously, travel is drastically reduced. Everyone's, you know, more centered around the home, consumer routines and habits, where they shop, how they shop, what they are spending their money on, obviously has drastically changed. And I'm sure all of us here today can vouch for that. What brands are buying and how they can, what brands they are buying. So there's a big shift, obviously, in the types of brands and products that people are choosing to spend money on, and really how they're viewing and consuming media, with people being more centered around the home. And of course, now things are starting to change as things open up. It's just in a constantly evolving situation, which can absolutely make it difficult for business owners to stay on top of, you know, what is happening and how to kind of continue to evolve your business. So the deep dive, what has changed? So we're going to go into some stats, because I always feel like When you want to look at marketing, it's really important to look at who you're marketing to, and everything is changing drastically in terms of how people are feeling right now. So obviously, times have changed. People are more uncertain. Health and safety are top of mind. People are worried about their family. The impact that COVID-19 and the global pandemic is having on travel, events, life, your health, and of course, the negative impacts of income and job and making ends meet and all of those things. So 58% of Canadians are very or extremely concerned about the uncertainty of the duration of the COVID-19 situation. Of course, when people are uncertain, that changes their spending patterns, habits, what they're thinking about. So most Canadians believe the impact of COVID-19 on their routines will continue to last well beyond 2 months. I think now that I feel like 4 months in, we're starting to realize this isn't just a few weeks kind of thing. Habits are shifting, routines are shifting, life, work, school, everything's changing, and it's really not for the short term. It really seems to be a much longer haul, and consumers are feeling it and aware of that. The location. Well, I think we can all agree home is central. So whether you're working from home, school is from home, entertaining from home, that's really the hub of everything. And, the home is really becoming the one-stop place for everything because people would want to travel less. They may travel to a cottage or a vacation home, which still is somewhat isolating. And of course, interactions with others are reduced. Travel, people are putting off larger trips, out of country trips, either due to restrictions or comfort. They're choosing to stay local. Staycations are top of mind. Staycations, I mean, it was a term before. Now it has a whole new meaning because people absolutely just want to stay at home, stay safe, and hopefully explore some new things that are local that they didn't get to experience before. Consumer behavior. So in terms of consumers are expecting to decrease spending across most categories, with the exception of groceries and at-home entertainment. No shock there. However, whatever industry you're in, ensure that you're absolutely taking a look at what is important and what people are spending money on here. So if you're a restaurant owner, you're going to want to look at the restaurant category. If you are a jewelry maker, if you're into personal care services, fitness, wellness, pet care services, out of home, all of these things, you want to really have an idea of what people are wanting to spend money on. And I think while it looks like all bad news in terms of everything but grocery and entertainment, it's important to note that there are people willing to spend more, and there's a large amount of people that are staying the same. So it doesn't mean that spending in those other areas is completely going away, but it absolutely does mean that their focus is shifting and they may not be spending as much. So definitely, this is a great data. This is great data to look at. I should also mention all of the data I'm going through in these consumer behavior slides were taken at the end of May. That's the earliest access to consumer behavior data I was able to find. And I think what we'll see is that as we go forward, some of these things are shifting as things are opening up. So these are continued to change at every phase of opening. So, but I think the trend is continuing what we were seeing at the end of May for sure. So switching brands and retailers, Canadian consumers are getting more comfortable trying new brands, new products, and really looking for new places to shop. Obviously, looking for shopping opportunities that match what exactly they're looking for in terms of safety. Do they want home delivery? Do they want a safe in-store experience? What we're seeing here is, 18% of Canadians shopped a new website for non-basic items. As you can see, 43% intend to continue shopping new websites. So if you haven't launched an e-commerce platform or something for your customers to shop online, they're going to continue this trend. So that's definitely something to think about in your marketing mix. changed, 17% changed their primary grocery store. So that's huge because grocery store shopping is pretty habitual. People tend to go to the same places or group of places. But of course, people tend to now, if they were going to a specific store that maybe was a little further from home, they may be trying new stores that are much closer to home or that they feel are safer than their typical places. As you can see, 39% intend to continue that trend. In terms of switching to a store brand, 17% chose to switch to that store kind of white label brand, which isn't really surprising as I know in the grocery sector, for instance, grocery items went up drastically in this time. So people were looking for cost savings. 62% continue to intend to continue that trend. Shopped a new website for basics. This is actually really exciting as well, because if you're a retailer of basic items, there's a continued trend of shopping new websites, which goes with non-basics as well. It's about the same percentage, and shopping a new grocery store. So those are really great in terms of if you're in the grocery or online retail space. Canadians expect to continue spending more time cooking, watching movies or shows, and doing home repairs. Oh, I see somebody, sorry, saying they can't see my slides. Hold one sec. Oh, thank you guys. Sorry. The way this thing, I'll go back through those slides really quick so you can see them. I don't know what happened. I'm saying allow. Are you seeing it now? Is everybody seeing it? Or seeing at least the... Oh. There. I did test this out. I promise everybody. I guess I didn't double click. Okay, hold 2 secs. All right. I will just quickly touch base on the slides I passed. That never fails. All right. Well, hopefully I was animated enough to go through those slides. I'll quickly go through the first one just so you can see at a glance. So this was what I was talking about with everything changing. This is the slide, which is much more interesting when you can see it in its full effect. All about how people are feeling right now. As you can see, uncertainty really is the prime thing there. This was all about their routines and really understanding COVID-19 is here to stay. And don't worry, because at the end of all this, you can actually view the replay. So if you want to take a closer look at some of these slides. This is the slide all about, I was talking about the location in terms of home being central, work, school, entertainment, vacation homes, staying local. This is the slide I really do want you to make sure you see, because it's really important depending on the industry that you're in, that you can kind of figure out where consumer buyer habits are happening around your particular business. So I know we had somebody in the food service industry. We had somebody in fabric manufacturing, which I guess would be into fashion and apparel. So this is a really important one, just to understand the trends. And again, this is from end of May. It's going to continue to change as we go through all the stages. This was the one I had just finished, talking about what people are shopping in terms of new websites, new brands, new grocery stores. And we had just arrived here, so I'll make sure I'm managing time here so that we get through everything. So in terms of all of this, the main thing is the weather is warmer. People are entertaining in small groups outside and making sure that, whether it's barbecuing, they're cooking a bit more, they're spending more time in their backyard, but they're also watching more online content. They're texting, chatting, messaging, video content is key, watching live news, exercise, social media. None of these things should be really shocking, because those trends were already quite high before COVID. They've just increased. And with the summer months, it's expected for them to decrease slightly with the warmer weather and stuff and people being outside. So in terms of looking to the future, people are continuing to reduce many in-person activities. So not a shock here in terms of travel, going to the movies and theaters, really going down in terms of mall visits and international travel. Obviously, grocery stores, still top of mind. We need to eat. We've also adopted more low touch activities, including video chat, telemedicine, and curbside pickup. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to tap into any of those to experience them, but if it's something that your business can embrace, I highly recommend it because people are looking for those kind of more low touch, virtual type of experiences or, fast kind of pickup experiences. And this just really continues to talk about when people are leaving their homes, they're obviously the main driver is still groceries. Working outside the home as things are starting to reopen is slightly increasing. Public transportation is increasing. So and that's a key one in terms of out of home advertising. Obviously, people are back using subways and buses and things, not to the same extent, but it's starting to grow. And obviously your hair and nail salon, people are really looking forward to going back to that one, jumped quite a bit. Top of mind really for any in-store shopping is safety. So ensuring that you're taking you're properly embracing safety measures in terms of physical distancing, masks and barriers, no contact purchasing, so limiting cash, cleaning and sanitization, health checks, all of those things as it is important for your business. So this is especially important for in-store. This may also be important if you run a business with employees and maintaining safety within the workplace. So also one-stop shopping, whether it's in-store or online, people really want to, if they're going into a store, they don't want to be there for long and they don't want to go to too many different places shopping. It's the same with online. So in the sense of people are looking to have delivery, so they're making sure their carts are full, so shipping is free or low cost. So they're trying to buy from one place at one time as much as possible and as many things as they can. Focusing on full service shopping over discount. This is actually a really interesting one because in recessionary times, discount is usually the focus. Right now, we tend to be going into recessionary times, and it's actually reversed because safety is so key. So that's a really important one to remember when you're thinking of your consumer. Basket and cart size is up, meaning people are spending a lot more money at once, but the number of transactions is down. So people aren't buying as many one-off things or going to the store as many times. They're doing it all in one shop. We're also at a time of civil rights movements. And so there's an increased focus on diversity and inclusion through all of the movements that have been especially loud in the media and, with protests around the globe. And it definitely has put a bigger magnifying glass on what companies and brands are doing. Consumers expect more accountability from brands. It's no longer okay to check a few boxes, in terms of, okay, we're blacking out or we're going to show our solidarity through a social media post. People are looking for real change and real solidarity. They're looking to who runs your business, who's on your board, who are you employing, what kind of voices are you elevating through your platforms. So obviously in Canada, Black Lives Matter, there's been a lot of focus, LGBTQ rights, and I'll specifically also mention trans rights. I know has been a big issue, not issue, but topic in terms of, increased awareness and Indigenous rights. So those are really important. And I think it's a big shift from a marketing perspective in terms of embracing this on a much deeper level and communicating exactly what you're doing as a brand. So shifts in marketing. In terms of, so there's all sorts of shifts. So I want to say that digital, we all know, has already been increasing, consistently over the years. It increased a lot, obviously, in the early months of the pandemic. We're now seeing that peak, but it's still higher than before. So it's important to kind of remember that still should be your number one thing you're considering in your marketing mix. Mobile is key. So making sure you're really thinking about that mobile experience, news, streaming, social media, all of it. Obviously, people are on their phones. And with more people at home, more devices are being used. So people might be forced to use their phone instead of, say, an iPad or something. Out of home. So as things are opening up, people are getting out of their house, they're taking public transit, they're in positions where they can see billboards and, digital screens, but there's less options. So restaurants aren't fully open. A lot of places like concerts or sporting events where, there might have been buying opportunities are obviously non-existent or very, very minimal. So those opportunities are less. TV, people are consuming a lot of live television and, of course, your PVR TV as well. So that's definitely an interesting opportunity if you're thinking about your marketing mix. It's increased from pre-COVID times. Radio. Okay, so radio is one of those things that I feel like as a marketer, there was less and less focus on, but it has increased substantially. So I think the key thing here is the access to radio through digital, so through streaming apps and things. Now, talk radio and music have both increased significantly, and it really just depends on the market, which depends which one has, in certain markets, music has been higher, and in some markets, talk radio. In Toronto, it's been talk radio. Print, so obviously newspapers and magazines decreased. This is because there's less foot traffic. People aren't commuting. They're not grabbing a coffee and then the paper and then hitting the subway. So those mediums are much lower. However, their online counterparts are definitely higher. So keep that in mind. Communicating your brand. So we want to make sure that right now, especially when people feel uncertain or stressed, we really want to go out of our way to make our consumers feel special. So personalized focus, whether that's your, an extra touch on pickups or curbside deliveries, those kind of things go a long way. And also the interactions you have through messaging, emails, any of those things, even over the phone, really understanding that people just need that extra assurance right now. And that goes with the safety feature, which we've been talking about. I think it's also really important to talk about community. So leveraging the power of community to spread the word. Tap into the people around your business, whether it's your city, whether it's your local community or neighborhood or street, whatever it may be that really can support your business and help them also to get the word out. Diversity and inclusion, making sure you're sharing what you're doing internally, meaning, your hiring practices, your protocols and policies internally. Communicate that with your customer so that they know that it's not just something for show on the outside and that you're only putting in, diverse ads and kind of marketing content, that it also filters inside your organization. The new normal. So making sure you're communicating what that looks like as it pertains to your brand, to your use, your products and services. If, for instance, you are a vet, you want to communicate that people have to now wait outside and not come in. Those are the things that are really important. And again, email, really key. Social media are great. Adapting and evolving your marketing plan. So we really want to get into mobile first, which I talked about. So that includes thinking about how your website looks on mobile. What is that e-commerce experience? Booking, ordering, scheduling, how you're advertising through the mobile experience, how you leverage apps, could be like Ritual or Skip the Dishes or other apps that pertain to your industry. Tap into small business resources. So things like the City of Toronto's Digital Main Street has offerings to free build you, or I should say complimentary build you an e-commerce portal. So making sure you're tapping into those free resources that are available through different city and government initiatives. And that includes your kind of entrepreneur innovation hubs. You want to make sure you tap into all the resources and, keep your costs down if those resources exist. Experimenting with, I'm just wrapping up. So anyone who wants to head to another session, I'm almost done. So Experimenting. So use new and emerging platforms or new to your brand. So for instance, Instagram's been around for a while, but there's still brands that are not using it. So this is a great time to experiment. TikTok, BombBomb, which is a video platform for sending easy video content. Etsy, Pinterest, still really strong. Pinterest is growing substantially. So especially if you're in food, lifestyle, all of those things, food is actually really picking up in the Pinterest space. YouTube and Reddit, great places to investigate, to think about doing new things. And again, very cost effective. In embracing trends. So obviously podcasting is key, Facebook groups, live streaming. All of these things are tools that you can use to market your business. And again, in a very low cost kind of scenario, especially if your marketing budget's been cut or you're just looking for new ways to kind of get out there. So one of the things I've been chatting about a lot through this is talking about your email. So making sure you grow those owned customer databases. Email marketing, SMS marketing are only growing, and people want that personal connection to your brand to understand what's going on. It's a great way to communicate what's happening. Social media can't always be reliable because depending on algorithms, not everyone always sees it. Email and text messaging marketing is very, very important. And digital ads. So there's less competition right now, more reasonably priced bidding. So definitely leverage this if you're looking to buy Facebook or Instagram ads. You may not be doing so in the month of July. A lot of brands are boycotting Facebook and such, but you may consider that, say, for August. Location-based targeting, so shifting to where people are. You know, people aren't commuting down to the center of the city anymore, so you might be reducing your spend in those areas and more to the larger GTA area. And looking to niche marketing opportunities. So more value in looking at, you know, very specific target markets. Things like, you know, looking at TikTok to tap into Gen Z, which that's a whole nother presentation for another time, but Gen Z, one to watch. Mintro, if you haven't yet heard about Mintro.com, it is exceptional to tap into the boomer and 50 plus market. These are the things that you really need to be thinking about as it relates to the market that you're going after. Look for those new opportunities. Influencers, I think, you know, influencers can't be understated. It doesn't always have to be in a paid capacity. You can leverage your customers, your fans, your partners, but making sure that you're aligning with content that is consistent with what you're doing and your brand. So that's something really important. Influencers are only getting bigger. They're great for driving contests and giveaways and that kind of thing. So looking ahead, we're wrapping it up here. What to expect moving forward. So as more businesses open up, consumers will be leaving home more often, but less. So we're not returning to normal. They're looking for more premium out of home experiences. So obviously things aren't opening up at full capacity. Prices are going up. And in general, you know, you have a more premium experience that people are going to expect if they're paying more. So just thinking about how your brand can tap into all of that, and, you know, maybe shifting some of your marketing around that premium experience. Amplifying, that's supposed to say amplifying. You can amplify a few things too, but how to celebrate those life milestone moments. So making sure that, you know, you're thinking about how people are celebrating anniversaries and birthdays, graduations, all of these things as we move forward, because, you know, in the next year, things might not change as much. And generally speaking, you're going to see that those kind of things are going to shift in how we celebrate them. People aren't going to travel and go away as much. So maybe you have a product or service that can really help and underscore those moments. And last most important thing, consumer habits will continue to change. So making sure that as you explore your marketing plan, you're not, you know, thinking about it as something that's set in stone, that it's something that, you know, is constantly changing, and you're kind of continuing to check in on how it's changing and how that relates to your business. Thank you very much for your time. I'm Nikki Tudico from Lamb Creative Group. Feel free to tap into or connect with me rather on social media at either Nikki Tudico or at Lamb Creative Group. I wasn't able to see comments while I was presenting here. So one sec. I will, oh, I don't know what that is. I will just check if there was any questions. Oh, someone was asking why brands are boycotting Facebook. This has to do with the way they're censoring content or not censoring certain people. That's a whole nother discussion. So I'll definitely leave that for a much bigger discussion. But brands are a lot of big brands. In fact, a lot of the big banks included. Every day, there's more and more getting on board in terms of boycotting Facebook and putting pressure on them to change their practices. Just double checking, didn't miss anything key. I think that's great. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out and connect. Obviously, I'm available via social media anytime. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear about your business. If you have any questions, I'm all ears. So thanks so much.